Hello, my name is Erica Andrews, and today I will be teaching a little bit about the special education laws. So the first slide we have here is the special education law timeline. Now this is not all of the laws and acts that were put in place for special education, but these are some of the key laws and acts put in place. So the first one we have here is the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. This was put in place in 1965. It provided resources for vulnerable students as well as quality and equality. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973, that comes next. This is part of Section 504, so it protects civil and constitutional rights of any persons with disabilities. This is about those students that have 504s but do not have a disability categorized under IDEA. Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This was passed in 1974. This was the privacy and safety to all students, parents, and guardians. It protects students' identities and records. The next act that we have put in place is in 1975. There were actually two put in place in 1975. The first is IDEA. It's Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. This act governs how education is run, so it provides FAPE, so free, appropriate public education. It also has the identification and evaluation of all students with disabilities. It provides IEPs for all students eligible, least restrictive environments, due process, procedural safeguards, and a right to due process. It also involves parent and student participation. The other one is Education for All Handicapped Children. This was also in 1975, and it required public schools who get funding to provide equal education and a free meal a day to all special education students. The next one passed that we have is 1990. It's the Americans with Disabilities Act. This act was a civil rights protection to those with disabilities and provided equal opportunity. The next one we have passed is the No Child Left Behind Act in 2002. This is where schools were held accountable for how their students learned, and it didn't lead to school improvements. It kind of involved the creation of Common Core standards after this. And the last act that we have here is in 2015, and it's called the Every Student Success Act. This ensures student success by providing advancement of equity, long-term goals, high academic instruction, statewide assessments, accountability systems for schools, and school-wide intervention programs. A couple court cases that happened during this time era where we were discovering special education needs that caused for change. The first one we have is Pennsylvania for Retarded Children versus Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So it's called the Park case. It dealt with the exclusion of children with mental retardation from public schools. It created a need for parental involvement and determined that there needs to be a process to allow them in schools. This was the first right to education court case lawsuit. It required quality education for all students, created a need for parental involvement, and determined that there needs to be a process to allow all students, including those with disabilities, into the schools. This case occurred in 1971 and was the precursor for free public education and the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975. The second court case that we have here is Mills versus Board of Education of the District of Columbia. Mills involved the practice of suspending, expelling, and excluding children with disabilities from the District of Columbia Public Schools. The school district's primary defense in Mills was the high cost of educating children with disabilities. Columbia had to provide education to all students and allow due process for all. This involved 7 children being denied their rights to learn due to the cost of their disabilities. The court ruled in their favor and declared that Columbia had to provide education for all. Furthermore, it allowed due process for all children. This occurred in 1972. The last slide we have here are some resources for you as teachers and parents to stay up to date. So the first resource we have is the azdisabilitylaw.org. So this is specific to Arizona. It is the Arizona Law website that includes information specifically on updates on the disability law. The second we have here is AZ Promising Practice. This is also specific to Arizona. This is the Arizona Special Education Handbook. The next website we have is called NAPCSE. This is a website run by parents and allows access to all laws and up-to-date information on special education. The last website we have is a newsletter called The Advocate. This involves current trends in special education and is updated by educators. Thank you.